Welcome back, everybody, to Boundary Line Podcast. Dillon Pink here, and I've got Sheldon Dougherty on the show with me as usual. And today we'll be discussing a lot of Test cricket. In fact, India versus Bangladesh, Sri Lanka versus New Zealand. We've got the ODI series also that's going on between England and Australia, and Afghanistan versus South Africa. That series was absolutely brilliant there. So we'll be discussing that. But before going ahead, requesting our viewers, please hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, guys, and don't forget to follow us on our socials. But let's get straight to it. Sheldon, we've had an entertaining week. India playing Bangladesh. I think the result everybody knew was on the cards there, but I thought Bangladesh was going to give a fight. And in the other side, the Sri Lanka versus New Zealand was a brilliant test match again. Again, it just goes to show that test cricket is the best. It doesn't get better than that. So we'll begin with Bangladesh versus India there. And what I thought was that India played absolutely well. They were reeling at 144 for 6 at one stage, man. And, I thought this is it. Bangladesh are going to come out now and show everybody, that they can beat India at home. But just when you thought that, Ashwin and Jadeja just showing that why are they, one of the world's best all-rounders.
Dil, you were spot on there because I think when you look at it, Bangladesh made a brave call at the toss. Obviously, they elected to bowl first. Who does that in India, right? Dil? Not many people do that. And they won the toss. They elected to bowl. They got off to a brilliant start. They got India reeling, 3 wickets early, 4 wickets early. They had them 6 down. And at that time, I'm sure Bangladesh were in dreamland. They would have thought, okay, we blew away the top order. We blew away the middle order. But it just shows how tough it is to beat India in India because you get past Rohit, you get past Kohli, you get past Rahul as well, Jaiswal, and then you get to the tried and tested duo, right? You get to the two Chennai boys, two guys who've played for Chennai. They know the pitch. Chipok is pretty much their homes, and both of them just showed their class in that partnership, which I think won them the game. I know they bowled well after that. Bumrah as well was superb, but that partnership, I feel, won them the game because it was so key. And they just almost took any chance Bangladesh had and all the positivity they had from the start. That partnership just took it all away, I feel.
Absolutely right, Sheldon. I thought Ashwin and Jadeja, just brilliant. Like you said again, just when you think that you've got past Rohit, you've got past Virat there, these two guys come up and show why they are the best there. But let's analyze this a little more, Sheldon, because I think, Bangladesh, after winning the toss, you get them there, Sheldon, to bat, and Jaiswal there. He gets off to a good start there, but Rohit Sharma, Shubman Gill, Virat Kohli, Rishabh Pant, KL Rahul, those are like 5 wickets there that, man, I thought Bangladesh bowled really well during that phase there.
Yeah, with the new ball, they were brilliant. I thought then the new seamer as well, they had pretty much with the new ball, he was absolutely brilliant. He was brilliant against Pakistan as well, and they rocked India early on, and there was like a spark there with Bangladesh's seamers. There was a bit of movement as well, and they really looked up for it. Like, you almost felt, looking at it, that Bangladesh really felt they were in the game at that point. And as you mentioned, the top 3 of India as well, so strong. You get Gill out early, you get Jaiswal, Kohli and Rohit having a quiet game, which is rare to see. And India was still pretty comfortable, so that's worrying signs for anyone playing against them. But you looked at that first innings, and Bangladesh will look at it and think, come on, we blow away the top order. We should have restricted India there. If you are to have any chance of beating India in India, you have to take advantage of that situation. Bangladesh needed to bowl India out below 250 after the start they had. But once Ashwin and Jadeja had that partnership, it really did feel like a long way back for Bangladesh from there.
Let's dive a little more here on Ravi Ashwin. Because in my opinion, I think he's really underrated. I feel he's really underrated. Yes, he's known for his bowling, but 600s in Test cricket, it's not easy. Especially for a guy batting at, where he does. Sometimes he comes in at 6, sometimes he comes in after that as well, right? And it just goes to show, Sheldon, this guy, he puts in the hard yards, and everyone, you go around the Indian camp or you ask anybody, all these experts, they all say that Ashwin is so hardworking. He reads the game really well. And just when you thought that, for India, the batting is all over the place, he comes in there, front of his home ground. Once again, I think he did it last versus England, if I'm not mistaken.
2021.
2021, yes, 2021 there. And again, this year as well against a good side, I should say. And just when you thought India was down and out, Ashwin comes up there, 199 runs, Sheldon. He held the fort there along with, that man again, Ravi Jadeja. Is always, if it's not his batting, he's there in his bowling. If it's not in that as well, he's there, diving away.
Yeah, Dylan. I think there's a bit of criticism pre-series about Jadeja, just his form of late
Oh
hasn't been
yeah.
at his best, and I think because Aksar's also been so brilliant for India, and obviously if when India go abroad, they can't play three spinners, so they'll have to choose between them, and I think Aksar's form has been great as well. So this is very much needed from Jadeja, and not only the fact that he scored, but the situation he did it in, where India were in trouble. It's not about only you scoring runs, but when you do it, and the fact that both of them scored in this situation just shows the character of both men, and what a duo they've been for India as well. I mean, to think not only with the ball, but even with the bat, now them delivering, and I think they also are so underrated as a duo because I think they'll be extremely missed when they don't play for India. And I think then
Yeah,
people will
man.
know the
Yeah.
value because how often do they do it together as well? And I think them as a duo are so underrated.
Again, I have to agree with that because once they leave, I know for a fact that there'll be a bunch of people there, that are going to miss them. But Ravi Ashwin again, Sheldon, I just want to dwell a little more on him there. But would you rate him as one of India's biggest match winners? I know in the 90s, a lot of people would say that Sachin Tendulkar would win them matches single handedly. Yes, I'm not saying no, but there was another man there who used to win India matches single handedly, almost single handedly when they used to play at home and even away, most importantly. And that guy is Anil Kumble. I thought he was brilliant, when he played for India, of course. But I see Ravi Ashwin the same way. With the likes of, Virat, Rohit, you've got Gill. He scored 100 in this match. Rishabh Pant, he got 100. All these guys, they can really win matches on the day. But Ravi Ashwin to do it with the bat and ball, Sheldon, I think is really underrated. And he's one of India's biggest match winners, according to me. What do you think?
Yeah, I think you're absolutely spot on there because he's not only won them matches, he's won them series. When you think
Yeah,
of most of the series they won in India, especially, most of them have been Ashwin just dominating the opposition. I mean, especially if he's bowling to a left hand. I mean, you got no chance almost when he's bowling there. And
yeah,
I think also over the last 2 to 3 years, especially, he's improved massively away from home as well. If you
yeah.
think the last time they played in Australia, I thought Ashwin was brilliant there. The way he bowled, how many times he got Smith and Labuschagne as well out
Oh,
there.
yeah,
So
yeah.
Ashwin, as a bowler, just keeps improving as well. He's such a smart cricketer. It's not only on spinning tracks. Yes, he's brilliant in India, but when he goes abroad, even in Sri Lanka, he's done brilliantly well. I
Of
think he's
course.
won them quite a few series there. So yeah, Ashwin as a cricketer, personally, I think he's India's best ever spinner. I think just his consistency and the way he's done, and in this era, he's been brilliant. Him and Nathan Lyon, probably the two best off spinners in this era, and
Oh,
I
yeah,
think
man.
Ashwin just continuously improves and definitely underrated, and India will surely miss him once he's not playing for them, I feel.
Oh, I just hope that day's, very far away, man, and not sometime soon, because of course he's getting old there. But another thing that I want to get on is Ashwin. Their records after records. Every test, man, that goes on, every series that India plays, he breaks some record or the other. I know in the last time India played, he went on to pick 500 wickets. Again, I think he's the fastest, if I'm not mistaken, to 100, 200, 300, 400, 500 wickets, at least for India, I think. This time around, he equals the legend, the king, Shane Warne, for the most number of 5 wicket hauls. I mean, that's absolutely insane. You don't get to see that happening. And there's only one guy who's a bit rated higher, or if not at the level of Shane Warne, and that's Muttiah Muralitharan. And after that, now it's Ashwin, Sheldon. So I really feel that, the way Ashwin's going. And again, another record that he's got, he scored 600s. He's equal to MS Dhoni.
That's just crazy when you think he also bats at number eight. So that's so low, and to get 600s batting at number eight is just crazy. And you almost feel in Indian conditions, I feel that's too low the way he's batting. I think he could
Exactly,
easily
yeah.
bat in the top seven in India with the technique he's got. And how many hundreds as well? The fact that he's got 600 is just crazy. So many top order batsmen don't have 600s when you look at it in the modern era. So, yeah, the
Yeah.
fact that he's got six is crazy. And you mentioned Shane Warne, one of the greatest to ever do it. I mean, if not the greatest spinner. as you mentioned, up there with Murli probably. So yeah, to be in that company is just brilliant for Ashwin, and yeah, he just continues to break records and continues to win matches for India.
Oh, he's a legend in his own way, man. I really feel that. But let's come to Bangladesh now. We discussed they've got India out. They had them reeling at 144 for 6 there, but just gave it away. With the batting also, I felt they were all over the place initially. Bumrah and Akashdeep, those two balls to get the openers out was spectacular. I mean, Bumrah again, another match winner. Time and again, you play in seaming conditions, you're playing in any conditions, overcast, or if it's dry, it's a road, it's anything. Bumrah gets you wickets. I don't know how he does that consistently. Would you say that right now, across all three formats, Jasprit Bumrah is the number one bowler right now?
Yeah, I think it's hard to argue with that. I think we saw that in the T20 World Cup. I thought he single-handedly, almost won India the World Cup. But he single-handedly did the final, I feel,
Oh,
with
yeah.
his spell as well. So yeah, but Bumrah's form in general, I think since he's come back from injury, since he had that serious injury as well, has just been superb. I mean, India probably want to keep him in cotton wool, like to play all formats because he's so key to India. I think he takes them from a very good team to an even more insane team just with him because he's so good. I mean, anytime he comes to bowl, he looks deadly. As you mentioned, the new ball, old ball, white and red, wherever he's playing. I mean, it's just insane. And yeah, he ripped through Bangladesh, and you can't really blame Bangladesh for that because any team in the world would struggle to play Bumrah, as we saw, across formats and in the T20 World Cup. So yeah, hard to argue with that. And Bangladesh will look at it and say we couldn't do much with the bat. We obviously saw them come back in Pakistan when they were in
Yeah,
situations, but
yeah, they did.
against this India team in these conditions, you don't have much of a chance. When you're collapsing, it's very hard to come back in a game. And I thought, as you mentioned, Akashdeep also came in and he did pretty well.
I thought
He
he did
came in,
well, yeah.
yeah, he came in that second seamer spot, and it really looked like he fit in well and took some key wickets too, Dill.
Bangladesh, I felt, gave up very easily. Like you mentioned, when Jasprit Bumrah's on song there, you can't do pretty much anything there. But coming back to the India's other innings, second innings there that they played, Shubman Gill, now he got 100. So would you say that space now is locked in for him? And another thing is that Rishabh Pant, he's come back now to form, and there's been a lot of chat going on who should be the wicket keeper. I know they've had like KL Rahul, they had Sarfaraz Khan, they had a bunch of others going around there, but Rishabh Pant now getting 100, does that seal the deal for him?
I think, yeah, Rishabh Pant, I mean, before his accident, he was just wonderful in Test cricket. Dill. I mean, we saw some terrific hundreds, whether it be in Australia or whether it be in South Africa. I thought he had a brilliant one in the South Africa series when he played
Oh
as
yeah.
well, the way he batted there. So, Pant in Test cricket is a no-brainer. The way he plays, he's just so suited to be in the middle order. And the way he just takes the game to the opposition is just brilliant to see. And
Yeah.
I mean, he had a fairy tale return to get 100 in the second innings, playing like how only he does as well, like that counter-attacking, that the way the style he plays and the attacking shots he plays, which is brilliant to see. And I think, yeah, he's a lock in the team for sure when fit. And I think when you look at obviously Shubman Gill, I mean, a lot of questions around his place in the side. Should he play at three? Since he's moved to three, his form hasn't been the best, you'd say. But yeah, this 100 is definitely big for him. Obviously, India have bigger test as well coming up soon. So yeah, for Gill, he'll want to continue this form and probably become more consistent, I'd say. That's one thing he'll try to look at number three.
I think he should now because he's got this one now under his belt. I think he just has to keep getting from strength to strength. There's another test match coming. If he gets another 100 there, that's almost sealing the deal for him there as well. But I agree with you, Pant in test match, that it's a no-brainer. The way he plays, the way he takes the attack, and it just feels like you're on the edge of your seat. That's it's box office stuff there when he's going on, and we've all seen what he's done. You mentioned the hundreds all across Australia, England, South Africa. He's got it all, and again, he's also equaled MS Dhoni now so fast. It's absolutely insane, right? But Bangladesh in the second innings, I thought, played a bit decently well. Not the
Yeah.
best again. Ashwin, he didn't get any wickets in the first innings, but just comes back and takes a six for there. Just easy peasy to front of his home crowd. But that brings me to another important thing that we need to ask everybody and guys. let us know also down there what you think. All right, because Ashwin does so well time and again, right? Home and away. But when the World Test Championship comes around that time, why isn't he picked? Why isn't he the first spinner when when India play in Australia, when India play in New Zealand and stuff like that? Why isn't he not there? That's hard to digest, right?
Oh, and that's $1 million question. I mean, how can he not be playing every game for India, right? I mean, it's just insane to think that he didn't play the World Test Championship final, or he's the one whose place is in doubt, and you just don't understand it. Like, I understand maybe they go with Jadeja for more balance, but you don't drop Ashwin. You try to, if you want to play Jadeja, you still play Ashwin in the team. Like Jadeja can ban the top six and Ashwin can be the sole spinner and you can still play three seamers because
Yeah.
Jadeja obviously is in the all-rounder role, so you can still fit in a spinner there. So I don't understand it. He has to play every game for India, especially a World Test Championship final when he's practically been one of the few guys who's dragged you to the final and won you so many series as well. So I don't get that. But yeah, if India do, and they probably will make the next World Test Championship final, Ashwin has to start. I mean,
Oh,
it
dude,
would just be
you're
insane if he doesn't start at Lords in that final.
Oh, dude, you're telling me I'm seriously hoping that, like you said, India are more than likely to make it, right? And if they don't pick Ashwin, dude, it would be another World Test Championship without him, and then that
Yeah.
would be absolutely insane to think that again he's not picked. But moving on, there, India actually won the Test match there comfortably by 280 runs. They go one up in the series. The next Test starts off in Kanpur, and we'll bring you that as well. But let's move on to the next test. We had a riveting test match played there between Sri Lanka and New Zealand. New Zealand, of course, playing in Sri Lanka, this was, and Sri Lanka they showed why they're so good at home. Once again, they're very tough to beat, like India at home, and riding on the back of that win that they had versus England, they come here and drag the test match onto the last day and just showed they are very tough to beat at home there. A nice test match. Like we mentioned in our last podcast, it's so important that these teams get the wins there. Sri Lanka, it could have gone anyone's way, that test match, but in the end, they actually won it quite easily, I should say.
Yeah, Dylan, there is many criticisms of the World Test Championship, but I think one of them that, one positive is that when you look at Sri Lanka and when they were playing in England, they were 2-0 down, but they still had World Test Championship points to play with.
That's
And that
insane,
meant
dude.
that they were going to
Yeah,
go to the Oval and they were going to play attacking, and they won that game. And now they won this game, and now they're third in the World Test Championship final, like the World Test Championship standings, which is just insane when you look at it. And yeah, Sri Lanka backing up with another good win here against a good New Zealand side. And again, we spoke about him in the last podcast, but Kamindu Mendis, he had another 100. He's almost like
insane,
Brandon
man.
when you look at his stats. I mean, he's averaging around 80, if I'm not mistaken. I saw
Yes, he
his
is.
stats.
Yes, it's around
That's
80.
that's just quite crazy when you look at it. And I mean, finally they did promote him up the order as we were discussing in the last podcast. And guess what? He scored more runs when he did go up, and another brilliant
Exactly.
innings. He had the only 100 of the match as well, and a real top quality knock as well, though.
Yeah, Sri Lanka, I think, are doing well. Like we mentioned in our earlier one as well, they should have got another win in England, and then things would have looked quite different for them and the point system right there. But this win, Dhananjay De Silva, I think is doing everything right that he can. He
Yeah.
comes out to bat, he saves the team sometimes, and when he comes to bowl, Sheldon, it's like he's the man with the golden arm. He's taking more wickets than the regular guys over there. Yes, on day 4, day 5, it was doing much there, but Dhananjay De Silva, you don't expect him to pick up wickets like that, do you?
Yeah, I mean, he can't do anything wrong right now. And to think, Dil, at the start of the World Test Championship, Karunaratne was captain as well, and he didn't want the captaincy. He was
Yeah,
almost forced with the captaincy, and Sri Lanka lost their first two games. For those who don't remember, they lost to Pakistan at home.
exactly.
That way, they
Yeah,
lost 2-0 after the worst possible start when you looked at their fixtures.
yeah,
But now you look at it and they've turned it around. They won in Bangladesh. They won two test matches there.
exactly.
And
Yeah,
now their form's turned and they're playing quite good cricket. And when you look at it, I think the games as well, they have a home series against Australia, which will be very big later. And obviously, they still have the remainder of this series. And when you look at Sri Lanka's bowling attack, it just looks like they can take wickets. And
yeah.
when you have a bowling attack which can blow away a team or take regular wickets, you're always in it. And I feel the spinners in particular are doing a really good job for them now.
Yeah, I think everybody in that team now has realized that yes, they can do this. In case they win a few more under their belt, they can make that World Test Championship, and I think they just playing brilliantly well there. But let's speak about another guy, Sheldon, who's been there in the camp there for quite some time now, and is almost a legend, a household name when it comes to there. That guy's Angelo Matthews. The last few years have not been easy for him, and even in this test, you could see the running between the wickets, not the best again. He gets injured quite too often. Would you say that next year that Angelo Matthews would be there in the Sri Lankan side or not? What's your guess? Because I think they've persisted with him a lot, and I think there can be another guy who can be there in that team and who can probably do much better. And I'm not saying that Angelo Matthews is a bad player or something. He's been a veteran for them, right? And bailed them out on numerous times there. But just feel that when you're playing this sort of game right now, and you see the way England are playing, India, Australia, all these guys, the way they are doing, right? You just need that X factor sometimes, Sheldon, and you can't have a guy like that who hampers your chances when there's a World Test Championship at stake there.
So, Dill, are you saying he should get timed out with the Sri Lanka career? I mean, he did get timed out in the World Cup, but Dill, I mean, you look at it and you just think, I mean, what you're saying I do get, because Matthews obviously been terrific for Sri Lanka, a real legend of the game. But you do look at it and you feel there are enough young talent, around Sri Lanka who can maybe replace him. You look at Mendes, for example. I think Dhananjay is doing great. Kushal Mendes also, who's been there for a while now. He's a proper bat. And I thought what they did was pretty interesting because they kind of swapped the two Mendes around.
Yeah,
so Kamindu was batting high up and, Kushal was batting lower, which was pretty odd to see, but it worked.
Yeah.
And Kushal did well lower down, and Kamindu did well high up. So Sri Lanka trying different things, it's good to see. And this was a pretty good test match still when you look at it. In fact, I thought it was pretty competitive.
Yeah.
I thought New Zealand were actually in a good position at the midway stage in the first innings, and then we saw something rare as well. We saw a rest day in the middle of the test.
I was going to come to that, the rest day.
A rest day for the first time in a long time. I think because of some elections or something in Sri Lanka, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, you're right.
They had a rest day, and I think the rest day was perfect for Sri Lanka because I feel New Zealand they were in a good situation after 2 days, and then once they had the rest day, Sri Lanka just came back all raring to go and bounce back.
Oh yeah, I thought that was rare to see, and I'm witnessing this for the first time, so that was absolutely nice to see there. I was watching it live there, but New Zealand, let's get into that a little more there. Latham played well. I thought he did really well. Daryl Mitchell showed some signs there. Kane Williamson, of course, he also played decently well there. But Rachin Ravindra, it's that guy once again. I thought he was absolutely good in the test match. First innings, you could see there when he got out, he was just so annoyed with himself there because he felt that he could have gone on to get much more, and he did that almost took New Zealand to victory there in the second innings there. But what a guy he is, man. Like right now, I think he's doing absolutely everything right. He's grabbing these opportunities there that he has, and I think he's just a star in the making.
Yeah, and we almost forget that Rachin Ravindra is so young still because he had that breakthrough World Cup and he has been playing for New Zealand for some time now. You almost forget that he's still really young, so even when he does play a loose shot, or he gets out recklessly, you still got to take into consideration that he is still quite young, so that can happen. And New Zealand have given him a lot of responsibility across formats. He's become such a key player for them. Also, he's one of their new gen players, and he's doing really well. And even in this test, almost single-handedly won them the test at the second innings. He played really well in tough conditions when it was spinning quite sharply towards the end of the test match. They'd probably be looking and say the top order should have helped him out more because it was almost too much left for him to do, especially in spinning conditions, almost too many runs he had to get. But I thought he played well, and he was one of the bright spots definitely for New Zealand in this game.
But the question that is probably on every fan's mind right now, especially guys from New Zealand, right? Fans from New Zealand, I think, where is New Zealand cricket right now? I feel with a lot of people choosing to play T20s and all these leagues right now, I think the likes of Trent Boult is not there. Where do you think New Zealand is right now? Because they shouldn't end up like the West Indies or something like that. That's what I'm thinking. I know they've got some big names there: Kane Williamson, Tom Latham, Rachin Ravindra, now Daryl Mitchell, all these guys there. But do you see that happening? That all these guys are sort of, hey, you know what, the money's there. I think I'll probably take that over playing for my nation.
That's a very good question, Dil. And also, Kane Williamson isn't on a central contract anymore as well.
Exactly,
So, I mean,
exactly.
and Williamson's the best player. He's the leader. He's someone who you wouldn't necessarily ever expect to not play for New Zealand, right? You'd expect him to play every game, even when he was injured at
Yeah,
the 50 World Cup. He still played. Like, that's what a warrior he is. And yeah, you look at it, Neesham as well is one player who's not on a central contract and opted for the county leagues as well. So when you look at it, it's just, I mean, that is the way cricket's going, right? Dil? You see with teams like South Africa as well. West Indies, of course, we know for a while have been like that. And yeah, also New Zealand, the fact that they don't play much Test cricket. So the players who have settled contracts aren't being paid that much. And it
yeah,
does come to money where if you play in the leagues, you will get paid. And now there's a league every week. So if you're just playing leagues, you'll get a nice living off it. So yeah, I mean, New Zealand will want to avoid all their players going there. But I think also national teams have to kind of get on board with this and kind of be like, we can let players go play abroad, and they do come play first in the big series or the big tournaments. But yeah, that's where they have to get the balance right. I feel New Zealand, like, you can't let it become like the West Indies team where everyone's only playing leagues. There's got to be some
yeah,
control. And like Williamson's playing this Test series, okay,
yeah.
he can go play leagues if he wants, but New Zealand still should be the first priority for him because that is his nation and he is their main player. So I think having those contracts are okay as long as you still put your nation first.
Yeah, and Sri Lanka in the end won the test quite easily there because the game did go into the fifth there. They had the chance of taking the extra half hour on day four. New Zealand were 8 down, if I'm not mistaken, and the umpires offered Sri Lanka whether they want to continue, but they said we'll take it on day five. And Sri Lanka winning there in the end by 63 runs, and they are on the third place there in World Test Championship. Let's move on to some white ball action there, Sheldon. Australia versus England. What's happening there, man? Like England just all over the place now. I know there's no Joss Butler and all that jazz there, but Australia really showing that they are a force to reckon with. There are some new guys that are there now, Sheldon, in that team. But irrespective of the fact, Australia is still showing why are they the world's best.
Yeah, I mean, you look at it, it's been two hammerings. I mean, Australia pretty much dominated England in both games, and I think England look at it, especially in that first game, and think they got 320, but England were in a situation where they should have made 370, 380.
Easily,
When
man.
the way
Easily.
Duckett was going and Jacks was going, they were in such a good position. And in that first game, they lost so many wickets to part timers as well. I mean, Labuschagne took wickets, Head took wickets, Short I think took wickets as well. And you just
Yeah,
look at it,
shot. Yeah, he got a lot of wickets there in that one.
and England absolutely threw away their dominant position. And then Travis Head, I mean, him and Marnus Labuschagne, almost
Dude,
reminiscent of what they did, back in Ahmedabad a few months
don't
ago. I mean,
don't remind me. Please don't remind me. I
I
don't want to
mean,
like think of that because Travis Head, man, the way he's playing is just absolutely brilliant there. I mean, we can go on and discuss about him the way he's risen in the past few years now, but some of the shots that he played was just insane, man.
yeah, Dylan, I think it's fair to say he's one of the most destructive batters in the world. Maybe the most destructive batter across formats. The way he's batting right now on form,
Hmm.
I mean,
Hmm.
it's just insane when you look at it, and the way he can just take on the bowling and almost kill the bowling attack with the way he goes. It's just crazy the way he starts. And when you look at Australia in the first game, they didn't have Hazelwood, they didn't have Stark. They come back in the second game and they absolutely deliver. And Australia, I mean, they just one crazy side because on paper it's just so good. Even their replacements who come in manage to do a job and they just find ways to win. And they're 2-0 up without probably breaking a sweat. Australia
Yeah,
probably haven't even hit top gear, and you look at England and they're all over the place. And it's probably no surprise what's happening with England. I think since 2019, they've probably just taken their eyes off 50 cricket and it slapped them in the face. I mean, the
yeah, man.
2023 World Cup was embarrassing. It was shocking their preparation first, and then the way they turned up in that tournament was even more embarrassing. And I know McCullum took the job. He has a hell lot to do with the 50 team because they definitely need fixing. I think you look at the teams around them have all improved since 2019. You look at South
Big
Africa.
time.
South
Yeah.
Africa becomes so dominant. Australia, India, far ahead right now in 50 cricket. You look at probably even New Zealand, who are ahead, I'd say, of England right now. So yeah, in 50-over cricket, they need a lot of fixing to do. And yeah, when Butler comes back, he and McCullum, I think McCullum's only taking the job in Jan. So from then, they'd have a lot
Wow.
to do to turn this team around for the Champions Trophy early next year as well. So I think
Yeah.
there's a lot that needs changing, and this is a wake up call for them because right now in 50-over cricket, they're looking a very, very average side.
Yeah, I think England just all over the place, like we're discussing there, and I don't know what's happening to them. And you rightly said that, Sheldon. I think you mentioned a good point. They've after that World Cup win, it's just that they're not interested now anymore.
Yeah.
It just gets the feeling there. But you see Australia with a new squad. You got Hardy, you got Short there in, and you got Mitchell Marsh who's leading them. A completely
Yeah.
new guy who's leading them. You got Fraser McGurk who's also in the field, substituting sometimes also and playing. No David Warner. Right, Steve Smith having a bad time. He's not getting runs there, and they're still managing to do so well. That's the thing. But yeah, Australia just showing why the world's best. Then they're just playing so well right now with England. But we'll move on to another interesting series that just got concluded: Afghanistan versus South Africa. Not many would have seen that happening there. I don't know whether it's fair to say that, but Afghanistan just completely dominating South Africa there once again, and the way they played, the quality of the game was right up there, with the world's best, I thought.
Andel, you mentioned Afghanistan. I mean, what an improved side they've been over these last 4 or 5 years, you'd say. Like the way they've
Yeah.
improved their cricket, they've become such a good side. I mean, the 50-over World Cup, the T20 World Cup, both excellent World Cups. They could have made the semis in the 50-over World Cup too if they held on to some catches. The
And
20-over
if it
World Cup,
wasn't for Glenn Maxwell.
yeah, I mean, crazy. How often will he play that knock, right? And then you look at it, and the T20 World Cup, they make the semis, and now their first ever series win against South Africa, 2-1. Obviously, South Africa not full strength, but still, any South Africa side is a good side. And Afghanistan to win that series 2-1, they won it in the first two ODIs with a game to spare, and not that surprising that Afghanistan won. I know it was in Sharjah, all three games were in
Why do you say
Sharjah.
that?
I think the way Afghanistan have played of late, it shouldn't be a surprise for them to win a series against any of the big nations because, as we know, they pushed Australia in both World Cups so close. They won in one of the games and they should have won the other one as well. And if they're pushing Australia that close, they should really be able to beat anyone. They beat England and Pakistan as well in the
Yeah.
50-over World Cup. So yeah, in 50-over cricket, they're pretty damn good side, Dylan. You look at Rashid Khan, Nabi, Gurbaz as
Gurbaz, dude.
well.
What a knock. What a
Gur,
knock that was.
Gurbaz, you have Mujib. I mean, across the team, it's such a good side. And Ibrahim Zadran as well, the other opener who,
Brilliant player, man.
yeah, so you just look at it and they have some really good players, Afghanistan. And especially if in Asian conditions, like they played in UAE, they probably could beat anyone there. So yeah, when
Damn.
you look at Afghanistan as such a good side, it wouldn't even surprise me to say they're top six side in ODIs. If we were to say, I think they're better than Pakistan right now. They're better than
100%,
Bangladesh
man.
quite easily. Right now in form, they're playing better than England in ODIs as well. So I
Oh,
mean,
wow.
right now in ODIs they are quite high up. I'd say Afghanistan and such an improved side. They led so well, and of course Rashid Khan. What more to say? Across formats, he's just
Legend, bro. Legend.
superb. So yeah, Afghanistan beating South Africa. Yes, some may be surprised, but I don't think it's that surprising given how Afghanistan have played over the last 3-4 years.
Yes, Afghanistan won that series pretty easily in the end. And like Sheldon said, I don't think so. It came as a surprise for many, but still, I was quite shocked, that they beat South Africa so easily. It's not that they beat South Africa, but the manner in which they beat South
Yeah.
Africa was like so easy peasy, right, for them. But thank you so much for watching this video, guys. It really means a lot to us. And do stay tuned to Boundary Line Podcast for more. And we'll catch you soon in the next video. Thank you.